Hey, everybody. Welcome to Press Play Radio and Press Play Conversations is what this is. I'm the Don, and with me is Tina, CEO of Press Play, where you can go get a ton of merch, shirts, mugs, the Song Story game. It's all there. You even got shirts with our names on the back, like almost like a football jersey.
Nice.
Pick your favorite host.
Everybody needs one that says Tina, by the way. Not the Don.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, screw me.
We actually need one that says Will on it.
All right. Well,
You guys are way cooler than me.
Well, I can tell you that, Will, I've loved your band, obviously when Wait came out, that's where I think at least where I became a fan, and then joining forces with Aaron Fink has been wonderful because I can hear it in this new record. I mean, your influences of where you were and then what you're doing with Aaron and the band, it's incredible. And these two songs you've released are phenomenal. I can't wait to hear the album.
Well, thank you for that. That's a huge compliment coming from you. I know you're a tough critic sometimes, so that means a lot. I hope the rest of the record doesn't somehow disappoint you. Although I'd like to think that it won't. I think you're gonna love the record. Quite honestly, we we still are. We're still trying to decide. And we're trying to decide whether we wanted to try to go through the rigmarole of trying to put it out on a label. And we've talked to a few labels, and it's just not quite the right fit for us. So as of now, we're planning on putting it out on our own. But what we were trying to do, because we're still actively trying to see if there might be a last minute fit for us, we didn't want to roll out the hits, right? We just wanted to chum the water and give something to our fans to start the process of letting them know that we're here, we're putting new music out, but we didn't want to give away the goods that a label would go, oh. So we've held back what we would normally think about as the singles. And so the fact that people along with yourself love the two songs that we have put out, like, really makes me excited about the where this record can go.
Makes me excited to know that there's better stuff out there, because what you got out there, I mean, just so you know, your voice is one of my favorites in rock and roll.
Thank you.
Seriously, it's so good. We like to call it a panty dropper voice.
Oh, jeez.
Just putting it out there.
Hey.
Yeah.
Ooh la la.
Man, if only somebody said that about me.
Well, Don, you're not a panty kind of guy. Neither am I. So we're in the clear, buddy. We don't want to be a part of that. We don't want to be a part of that camp.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I'm excited to hear the rest of the album.
Well, how about this, Tina? I want to play a clip of "Where Were You." Mm-hmm. I love this tune, and I think. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Right.
My God.
It's got some meat on the bone.
On, Don?
Yeah. Throw him, Tina. Throw him. Woo. That
So,
is a song.
well, I'm one of those people that I always like to know like the backstory. So we have this thing called Song Story, right? We always ask questions about the music that people love and why they love it. And
Yeah.
I love asking artists, okay, so that song, of course, you know, you always have that person in your life that just wasn't there for you when you needed them the most. Then all of a sudden they appear and you're like, what? I want
Yeah.
to know what's the story behind that song for you.
Whew. It's a loaded question. I never typically talk about this kind of stuff,
Oops.
um, only because I always hope that people can hear it and interpret it in a way that fits in the context of their own life, right? But in this case, this whole record was inspired, by the relationship that I was in at the time and also some other ones, some past ones. But this record is all about what I have experienced in my own personal relationships and the pain points that I've experienced, the feelings that I've felt during the ups, downs. And this was one of those songs where I just, I try to be uh, for lack of a better term, I try to be that person that just is the bigger person, right? And I typically just sort of walk away from things rather than get into the mud type of
Mhm.
thing. But on this song, I said, you know what? I have to write this song because it's how I'm feeling right now,
Mhm.
and I just let it. It just wrote itself. It literally was just a big emotional dump of what I was experiencing in that relationship. And I think that's what you're hearing. I remember I had the idea for the song and I went in and I just started playing that guitar riff to match the words that I was starting to write down, and that heavy chunky riff that I kept playing just cycled all of that emotion that I was feeling and experiencing and thinking. And I think that, Out of My Hands kind of is all, it's another one. I mean, every single song on this record is about that relationship experience that I was going through at the time. So this is kind of Will's emotional diary of a look into what it's like for me. And I don't know if it's true or not. I think that there are people maybe interested in, well, I wonder if Will has the same kind of relationship issues that I do, right?
Mhm.
Maybe. And maybe that's helpful to some people to know that they're not alone in that. Um, but the purpose for me was not just to vomit and dump out, all of my emotion and song for people to listen to, but really my purpose and everything that I've ever done artistically has been to create a space for people to let them know that what they're experiencing is okay and they're not dysfunctional, they're not broken, they're not a bad person for feeling the things that they feel. We still have to be responsible. We don't, it's because we feel that way doesn't mean that we go out and we, hit somebody back. Sometimes we have to be the bigger person, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk about it. And that's something that I've learned in the last couple of years of my journey, is that being the bigger person doesn't mean that I have to silence myself. It's okay for me to express it. And that's what I did on this record. This was my foray into that and not really beating around the bush.
I think that relatable music is obviously what makes music super super good. I think the more people you can relate to, the more fans you draw in. But
Yeah.
also, like that's one of the things. And you don't know anything about Press Play, but I'm gonna give you a little education. But that's what we're trying to do with Press Play, the app, which is basically what we're doing is we're taking artists like yourselves and we're giving them a place where they can build a community,
Mhm.
so that we understand that people want to be closer to the artist than what they've been able to get in the past. And doing things like this and asking you more personal questions, not always just always talking about the music, I think gives your fans an inside perspective. And I think that when we get to know artists a little deeper than what's on the surface, it makes us even bigger fans. Like,
Yeah.
because I can relate to that album, I can relate to those words, and which makes me
Yeah.
like now I can relate to your story, and you're more like me than I thought.
Look at that.
Well, hey, Thank you for the compliment, because I'm sure you're a very lovely person, or you wouldn't be friends with Don.
That's right.
Don's a tough guy. Don's a tough guy.
Tough.
No, I think, it's funny. I recently learned, my entire career in life, I've always when people go, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm a musician, right? I sing in a band," and it never really landed right with me internally, even though I was saying it. Like there was always something that just felt kind of odd. I mean, yeah, I'm doing that, so it wasn't that it was wrong, but it didn't feel right. And what I learned recently, so I also do coaching. I don't have any clients at the moment, but I've coached several clients over the last 3 or 4 years. And I do that with my friends. My friends are always calling me, to kind of help them navigate whatever challenges that they're going through, whether it's relationships or work related or family or just goals that they're trying to achieve. And what I realized is that that's what I do. I just happen to be a singer also, and singing is my vehicle that I'm using to help people navigate their everyday life, navigate their emotions. That's the whole purpose of why I do what I do. And I use music to do that because that just happens to be something that I'm really good at doing. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, in this world, use whatever we're good at to make the world
A better
as better place as we possibly can.
Yes.
Look at that. I wanted to call out too that why, the sounds of this thing are amazing is Johnny K is involved.
Brilliant.
He did The Sickness by Disturbed. Even if that isn't enough to make you realize what this guy has worked on. I mean, he started once he did The Sickness, then it was like all hands on deck. Disturbed kept using them, Finger 11, Soil, Drowning
Stained.
Pool, Three Doors Down. I mean, the list is
Seven
endless.
Dust.
Seven Dust, right? And the way they sound. So here you are. Have you used Johnny K before? Or is this the first time?
Johnny K produced our second record, which yielded our biggest hit to date, which is Wait.
Oh, he did
So,
produce that one.
yep, he produced that record. That's how we met back in 2003.
Oh yeah, the album 2. There it is. Yep.
Yep. We lost touch for a handful of years. He was going through his life stuff. I was going through mine. We reconnected when I was in Nashville on a holiday. That's where he ended up moving to from Chicago a few years back, and we reconnected when I was out there. And then when we started making this record, me and Aaron were slated to produce this. Like we'd already had made plans that we were going to do this, and we went and we recorded drums out in Florida on our own and some of the basic tracks, and I came back home with the tracks, and I was going through a lot of relationship stuff. I was going through a lot of just me trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing, I wanted to do. And the album kind of took a back seat to everything that was going on in my life. So I was working with a coach that I use who's been coaching me for many, many years. He's the best. He is one of the few people in my life that can just fucking really shake me up and
Vocal
really.
coach or life coach?
So he's an executive coach. He's a personal development coach is what he is.
Ah, okay.
He's one of those guys, what are you doing? What do you want to do? And why aren't you doing it? And processing that. And it's tough. He's a fucking wizard. But anyway, I remember in one of our coaching calls, he said, "So how's this record coming?" And I said, I haven't touched it. It's been 3 or 4 months. He goes, then you need to find somebody to get it done. But you have to finish this. You started it. You have to. And if it costs you, well, but it's going to cost me a lot of money. Well, that's the fucking price you pay for procrastinating and not doing it. So your option is either get over your shit and do it, or get fucking somebody else to finish. But finish it. So I called Johnny K. He was one producer that I reached out to. I also reached out to Bob Marlette, who produced Saliva's records, Tracy Chapman, I think it See Their record, I think it did. I met with him too. And Johnny K was just the most excited about the demos that he heard that I sent him and the tracks that I sent him that we'd recorded on our own. And I love Johnny K. Like we had such an awesome time and have so many great memories of making that second record with him. It just felt like home to me, which is where I needed to go. And I needed to kind of go back home to sort of recenter myself again as an artist. And I trusted that I could be in the state that I was in, which was kind of, I mean, I was kind of coming unglued there internally, emotionally, with the stuff that I was going through. So I trusted that I could be doing that and he would be making sure that this record was turning out amazing and also really challenging me and the rest of the band to do our best, even when there were days I didn't feel like it. I think we all know how it is when we get in those depressive states. I overthink a lot. That's my thing. And when I overthink a lot, I don't sleep a lot. I don't sleep. I don't eat very well. I don't take very good care of myself when I'm in that state. So I needed somebody that I trusted that was going to be able to shepherd this project through while I was doing my own thing over here. And he did a brilliant job, as I expected. I didn't expect it to not. He went above and beyond with this record. We talk pretty frequently, maybe once every 2 weeks, and we still talk about what are you doing, like what's happening, how can I help, and there's not a lot of producers that do that. And he's become a real friend to me and a believer in the project. And I can't say enough good things about Johnny K. He's great at what he does. He's a great human.
That's awesome. That is great to hear. Well, let's do a little Out of My Hands, because this is also phenomenal. It's the latest one that came out, which is both of these songs that we're featuring are going to be on the new record, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see? So you heard the first one and you were floored. Wait till you hear this one. Here we go. 40 seconds of this is enough to get hooked, which we'll talk about hooks in a second because it's important. Here we go.
It's not
again, that moment where you tension, like again, that airtime on a roller coaster is what that feels like. It's what I call halftime, right? It goes halftime in there, and I love those moments.
Yeah.
And if your new album is riddled with that, I'm going to be listening to it nonstop because those things just get me. They're like music highs for me.
There's a lot of really, really great moments in this record. Like I don't I can't think of a song and usually there's usually at least one song where I'm like, I don't hate it. I'm just kind of indifferent about it. But every single song, like, and maybe it's just because when I listen to it now, I'm remembering all of and I'm hearing that person that was trying to figure his shit out and trying to navigate a really difficult time. And so when I hear it, I go, that's what I get when I hear this stuff. And it also shows me, because I'm hearing a lot of growth from a person just as much as I'm hearing somebody going through this excruciating time of heartbreak, disappointment, abandonment, all of these different things. I'm like, I'm hearing all that, but I'm hearing the beginnings of this new chapter, this new person, and here I am. Everything turned out okay. Everything's good. And I think that's the message, that I really hope, that people take away from, listening to this record is I hope that people listening to it can hear and see themselves in each of these songs. That's, to me, the beautiful thing about music.
Well, I cannot wait to hear it. And I thank you, Will, for
let him know.
What's that, Tina?
I'm also excited. Let him know.
Tina's also excited. She's buying extra pair of
Beautiful.
panties for this event. Perfect.
I want to know.
So also, did you see, we also announced our tour with Saliva. We're really stoked on that. That's going to be a really, really, really great tour. There's a lot of energy from fans happening out there since we announced it. So we're super stoked to see that. You're in Florida, right, Don?
Yes.
Yeah. So we don't, as of now, there's nothing in Florida, but they
What about
might
Indiana?
tack some stuff on. I don't think we're doing any Indiana, unfortunately. So you'll have to fly to LA. We're doing the whiskey, we're doing the LA, and then we're doing the Glass House in Pomona.
Here we go. So we got I got a list here. And Minneapolis, Madison, Wisconsin, Wyandotte, Michigan, Lakewood, Ohio, Reading, Pennsylvania, Grand Rapids.
So we're in the hood. We're in the hood.
Kansasville, Wisconsin, Ringgold, Wisconsin, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Minot, North Dakota, Bozeman, Montana, Great Falls, Montana, Montana, Boise, Idaho, Spokane, Washington, Seattle, Portland, Reno, Nevada, Bakersfield, California, Pomona, California, and Phoenix. Well, no LYLVC. Who's that?
That's pronounced lilac.
Lilac. I got you.
Yeah. I thought the same thing you did. I'm like, is this an acronym for something?
You are going to be playing West Hollywood.
Yes, the whiskey.
The whiskey.
Yep.
You said that. Phoenix, Albuquerque, Corpus Christi, Houston, and Austin. So
awesome.
Yep.
All these great
before
places.
We go,
so they might tack on maybe some stuff going east. Maybe we'll land in Florida. I'm not sure. Let's hope. We keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, that would be great.
I want to know his first purchase, and I want to know his first concert.
Two.
Right. So what was the first album you purchased, Will? That's what Tina wants to know. Ever in your life?
With his own money.
With your own money. Not like mom gave you money.
With my own money, then it was for sure a Metallica record. And it was probably Master of Puppets or And Justice for All. It was one of those two records.
Nice.
And first concert?
First concert.
The first concert I went to was Wasp at Long Beach Arena.
Whoa.
Wasp.
Wow.
It was Wasp, and I believe also Dokken
Ooh, love some
We
was
Dawkins.
had
on that
Don
bill.
Dokken on. It was a
How
great
was
interview.
that?
It was wild. Oh, Tina wasn't there for that. It was because we had Stormy with us, who was Mick Mars's daughter.
Yep, I
There was a
remember
lot of
her.
great stories, but he got into what the best part was in the middle of the interview. He takes us with him with his phone. He goes into the bathroom and he just starts peeing. Don Dokken pissing on our interview. I go, what he goes, I'm 70. I forgot how old he said he was because I just can't help myself. I gotta pee, you know. Don't ruin this rock star image, man.
I've never met Don personally. I've seen some of his, videos that he puts out on Instagram and Facebook. He seems like a pretty out there guy, but as you know, I've I've done a few things with George Lynch, and George has told me a lot of interesting stories about
Yeah,
some
what's
things with
weird is
Don.
that they seem to be doing shows together again, which is really
Yeah,
bizarre because they can't
I know
stand
they
each other.
I know they wasted so many years to finally start doing it. I mean,
I know.
imagine if they did what they're doing now 20 years ago. Like they
Right,
might have
right.
actually been able to actually really like do something amazing, but they just wasted so much time with their weirdness together.
So in a sense, except for Mick Brown, I have interviewed 3 of the 4 members of Dokken before.
Wild McBrown, huh?
Yeah, I
Hey,
never.
Jeff Pilson, have you interviewed?
Yes,
Jeff Pilson is a sweetheart of
yes,
a
he is.
guy.
It was
And
such a
and
great
and
interview.
and probably the most sane person out of the whole band.
But he's got his shit.
He is such a great record producer too. Like he really is, and a phenomenal bass player. He played bass on
Dio.
the last thing that he did that, but I worked with him on a record with a George Lynch project where it was a bunch of cover songs. It was called Heavy Hitters,
Yes.
and Jeff produced that. And I remember I was on the phone with Jeff one day, and I said, "Who's playing bass?" I go, "Is this Shoot?" He goes, "Yeah, that's me." And I said, "Wow." I said, "Please don't take offense to this." I go, "But I never knew you could play bass like this." And he kind of chuckled, and I said, "No." I go, "What I mean by that is in Dokken, like it was pretty standard issue. Like you weren't doing." He's like, "No, I get what you're saying, and that's why I'm chuckling." I had no idea that he was such a very, very capable bass player, very musical. And I was impressed with that. I was impressed with his work ethic, his professionalism, his, he, I mean, the songs came out great. They're some of my favorite produced songs that I've done, which is, I'm a tough critic when it comes to that. And he's such a special guy. Great guy.
Well, and I agree. And the interview was just that. Like I brought up how. Well, I asked him in Rockstar. He's in that movie. And I said, "Did you ever have to? What was that like when you had to audition singers before?" He goes, "It's just like the movie." So I thought that was funny because he did that. But when I had George Lynch on, one of my favorite stories is, because we talked to Dean, always brought up the 3-part harmonies of Dokken, right? Don, Jeff, and
Mhm.
Mick were beautiful voices, but you notice how George is missing from that lineup. When I had George on, I said something about my singing. He goes, "Well, the guys in the band actually paid me not to sing."
I believe that.
He goes,
I
he
believe
goes, he
that.
only found out once that he went to step up to the mic at a show to talk to the crowd and nothing was coming out. And he turned to the sound guy and he's like, not even rigged. So they had the
That was
mic up
probably a
there at
good
the
idea.
top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he went back and like, "Guy, we didn't want to hurt your feelings, but you suck at singing." So they made an agreement and George agreed not to sing and they pay him, I guess. But that is the thing about Dokken is Jeff's voice is the higher register in that. And
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. His
And
vocal.
unfortunately, I don't know what your opinion is on it, but Don
No,
he's kind of lost. He's
yes.
just kind of lost that magic that he had about his voice. And I don't know if it's because he didn't take care of it or if it's just, age. I'm not really sure, but it's
Yes.
just like when I listen to it, I
Well,
just I go,
It's the same thing that happened to Jack
eek.
Russell and a few other ones.
Just my own observation. I don't know if anybody shares in that same
Yeah, Tina said the same thing
sentiment.
happened to Jack Russell of Great White.
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, like we did shows in the Audio Slave days. We had shows with Audio Slave, and Chris Cornell is like one of my favorite singers of all time in modern rock terms. I remember there were days where I went, who's singing? God, it's fucking awful. And then there'd be other
Really?
days.
Chris?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was sharp. It didn't even sound like him. And I remember being really kind of surprised that, is he sick? But the thing is, what Chris Cornell did was super technically, like so hard to be able to maintain night after night. And they were playing, hour and a half,
Yeah.
almost 2 hour sets. But then there would be some nights where he was so on, it was like a fucking religious experience. Like, holy fuck. Like, I quit. So it was cool to see because it showed that even, Chris Cornell, who a lot of people, for all intents and purposes consider to be maybe one of the most distinctive sounding voices, of our time, even he was a mere mortal when it came to his limitations and hitting his own ceiling from time to time where it wasn't such a great look. And that kind of made me feel a little better in a way. Like, okay, I can stop trying to,
Right.
being so hard on myself like this guy. And listen, it wasn't that it sounded so bad that you just didn't want to hear it. I was just really shocked because I always viewed Chris Cornell as perfect, right? And all the things that I had experienced at the time. So it was cool to get to experience that and go, wow, okay, he's human like everybody else. So I think I say all that to say we've started this about Don, and I think it's more than just having a couple of bad shows for Don at this point. I think
No, I get.
he's just.
Yeah, but I will say this, because when we Michael Wagner, the producer, what's his name? Michael Wagner was like a producer
Yep.
of Scorpions, and that was one of the things is he went in and filled in with Klaus with the Scorpions. And the funny thing is, Klaus can still sing. It's crazy. Like
He can. Yeah, you're right.
amazing. But
Yeah, I don't
Don's
know.
voice back in the day, Don's voice, there was nothing like it. I mean, holy smokes, he could sing.
Yeah, listen, I was a
But Will,
huge
no, I like his voice better
Dokken
than Chris
fan when I
Cornell's.
was a guitar player.
Oh,
I
wait,
didn't even.
hold on a minute. Tina just said, breaking news, that she prefers your voice to Chris Cornell's.
Wow. Okay,
By
Tina,
far.
tell me where I send the check. Where do I send the check?
By
It's too
far.
bad. It's too bad, Don, that we can't hear her actually say it, because if I
I
tell
know, right?
anybody, they're
You
going to
think
go,
I'm making
well,
that
show
up.
us where this happened. Well, I don't know. Her lips were moving. Well, how do you know she really said that? She could have said, Will, you're an asshole. And we're laughing and we're like,
It'll be
thanks.
on.
I'm like,
It'll
cool.
be on the
But
full
no, but
video.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear it when we play it back. Yes.
Perfect. So I'll have something, but thank you again for that compliment. Very kind.
Well, again, when's the drop date of the album, Will?
So we don't have an exact date, but it's going to be probably around the second week of October is when it's going to drop. But I will send you and Tina a link. You'll have to send me her email address so I can copy the link to her, but I'll send it to you. Actually, I would be interested, after you listen to it, I'd be interested to know what you think we should drop next.
Ooh, I like that.
It's tough. And it can't be, and I'll tell you which ones that we believe the singles are. So it can't be any of those. So the question will be, which song that aren't these three, I think it's 3 songs, or maybe it's 4, would you pick next? It's hard. There's some really
maybe
great
we
ones
put them in order
on there.
of the way we would release them.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
This will be fun.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what she said. I saw a little bit.
That's right. You can't hear. She said that she's going to say every song is perfect. And no. She said that we're going to rank them like how we think the order that they would get released. We're going to put them in that order.
Sweet. That'd be great. Love it.
But
And then
she
I
really
won't.
did say that she prefers your voice to Chris Cornell. She really did say that. See, she's nodding too. Will, thank you, man. Thank you for taking time.
Anytime, my pleasure. My pleasure, Don. Always loved coming on and talking with you, man. You're always you've definitely don't make interviews boring. They're always top notch, very
Try not to.
personable, in depth. I love it.
Awesome.
Authentic is the word. Authentic.
And when you can hear Tina, it's amazing too.
Oh, well, we'll
you
do
did-
another
you
one.
did for a little while. Yeah, maybe when the full. How about this? Back in October, when the full album comes out, we'll go through our rankings. We'll compare what Tina said, I said. Maybe we'll get the rest of the staff to rank them, and then we'll see what they say, and we'll do our own in order thing.
Yeah, we'll have him back and we'll see. This is what was
Sweet.
decided.
As long as nobody puts anything out before we do.
we won't.
What do you mean?
Well, as if it, I
They
don't,
want
it's
your
it's cool if you guys plan for people. As long as nobody like puts it out, it's all good.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no. It would be the staff if that's all right. We're not gonna.
Yeah. No, that's fine
Now-
if they hear it.
The other thing is, I was mentioning the hook thing, and we're working on something. It's not. Can't really disclose it too much yet, but eventually there'll be a part where you can actually do something where you can take. I can't really talk about it too much, but let's just say it's going to be an amazing feature that'll focus on the album and not just the order of the songs, but other parts of the song. But we'll get into that. Hopefully by October, we'll be ready to talk about it.
Sweet. I'll be ready for you.
Yeah, there you go. All right, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tina.
You got it.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
I'll see you guys soon. Talk
Bye.
soon.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.